I just wanted to create a video just to talk about the new direction that Somalia is heading to at the moment. There's a lot of things that happened in Somalia in the past 6 months. Um, there's been a new government, new president, a new parliament. Before that, uh, there was a lot of instability and infighting, and and there was a lot of things going on. So when we think about Somalia, we think about a war-torn country which um, doesn't have a strong state. And Somalia also includes Somaliland because Somaliland was part of Somalia, but now they are a separate country. Um, I think they were governing themselves peacefully for the last 20 years. They have democracy over there. They used to be part of they used to be part of the British Empire, but in the 60s decided to come to uh, what was then Italian Somaliland in the south and unify with them to form what we now know as Somalia. Um, but um, they feel now that they don't want to be part of Somalia, you know, because because the military dictatorship attempted to genocide them. So so that's Somaliland, but when we look at Somalia, it's made up of many states, many different states and many different tribes. The largest tribe is the Hawiye tribe, which have um, they have borne the brunt of the bloodshed in Somalia. Um, Unlike the rest of the country, they didn't manage to get stability. They had they had different warlords who were ruling them for a good a good decade. Then they had the Islamic courts, which brought on the Ethiopian invasion, which completely wiped out the capital city of Mogadishu. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of people died, millions got displaced, and which uh, which resulted in Amazon troops coming into the country, Mogadishu, countries such as Uganda, Burundi, and then Kenya, and then even Ethiopia coming back to rural parts of Somalia. And then you had Al Shabaab, which is an evil terrorist organization who are 100 times even worse than the warlords. They are very brutal, uh, and just they're just horrible, terrible, very evil. Um, and then you had and then you had the weak government from Sheikh Sharif. He was the first one to establish some sort of government in Mogadishu. He pushed out Al Shabaab, and after him, you had Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, who became president, I believe, in 2013, who done a tremendous bringing back Somalia together. And then you had a man called Mohammed Abdullah from Archon, a very terrible, evil guy, a tribalist, who just brought back the tribal ideology that Somalis fought so hard to get rid of. Um, and just he tried to bring back the Ka'an, which was basically the Daro tribe being having the best jobs, best positions in 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 in, in Somalia, you know. And he just brought that back all his memories, just that horrible memories which destroyed the country. And under him, Al-Shabaab became very powerful. They just grew in power. They were unchallenged. He was just focusing Farmacho was just focusing on and killing the Hawiye population, and Al-Shabaab just became stronger. And at one point, they were generating 180 million in tax revenues alone. Um, so that was just under him. It was just 5 years wasted. But what happened was, um, you can see that people became more divided. The country became more tribalistic. People from his tribe. I'm not saying all of the Darod. I'm just saying the smaller Darods, in particular the Marhan, the Wasenguli, the Dulbanti. They supported him blindly. They were just supporting him, regardless of the damage he was doing to the rest of the country. So that really divided the people, and it just showed the Hawiye clan, especially the Hawiye clan, that there's no such thing as Somali unity. That there's just pure tribal brutality, just naked. Tribalism, just naked. So yeah, it was just mental. The guy was a failure, a racist, terrible man, but he had tremendous support from his community, and you know, people just had enough. Because I'm talking about the Hawiye people. They just had enough because they said, because they felt like their lives weren't getting better. They weren't safe. Uh, they didn't have freedom. They couldn't even demonstrate. So people just had enough. Thankfully, uh, the elections happened thanks to the Prime Minister Robles, who's done a fantastic job. Free and fair elections happened, and thankfully, Hassan Sheikh Mohammed got elected again. So now the country is doing much better. Al Shabaab, they lost a lot of territory. And obviously, some people ain't happy about this, especially Nawajan or people, or we like to call them CDB. They're not happy. They're not happy at the progress that's being made, and they're not happy at, especially the Hawiye tribe, doing very well under this government. And we're talking about Iran, which is settled by Hawadli. The whole state of Iran now is 100% Al Shabaab free. And inshallah, we're on the verge of El Bur becoming free and Haradera becoming free. And Middle Shabelle itself is almost entirely free. So, so there's been like great benefit to the Hawiye clan so far from this government, and everyone's happy, you know, and and they like, the whole government is based on the Hawiye clan, because Somaliland, broke away. Pulan doesn't really support the central government because it acts independently, and it doesn't pay any taxes, not even one penny, to the central government, and it doesn't contribute troops to help the central government to combat Al Shabaab. The people who are paying taxes are the Hawiye clan, and the people who are contributing troops to help support the government against Al Shabaab is the Hawiye clan, and that's a fact. I don't care if anyone gets upset about that. That's the truth. So yeah, this government is just doing so much, but it's still got a lot of work to do. A lot of people are disappointed with President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud because he hasn't sacked um, key people who were close to Farmacho, such as Hijar, who isn't easy, he's not even from Mogadishu or from the south, and he's he's created an image where people feel that he has a strong hatred for the Hawiye clan. And you have another guy called Behi, who's a cousin of Ramacho, who people feel like he undermines the Al Shabaab anti Al Shabaab campaign. That he gives intelligence and support and information to Al Shabaab. So and Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud hasn't sacked those people, which really uh, uh, like just blows the morale of the people. But regardless, President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, um, he's just done a fantastic job. He's got a great prime minister from the Ogaden clan who's just fantastic. He's working with him. He's going out to the front lines, giving good moral support to locals and the troops to continue fighting Al Shabaab. So things are going really well, but it's not easy for us because um, the country isn't united, and not only are the people fighting Al Shabaab, we're also fighting corrupt politicians who are not happy about change or progress, and we're also fighting tribalists who support Farmacho, who are not really happy about the progress being made in the country, who would rather see the Al Shabaab win rather than um, you know the people becoming free. So I think it's going to be a hard fight, but I think Al Shabaab they're going to you know be defeated in central Somalia. I'm talking about Galmudug, Hirshabelle, those areas. Al Shabaab are going to be defeated soon, inshallah, and that's going to be a massive boost to the government. Just a week ago, I think we captured Wahba, which is an important town right next to El Bor. But the Somali army retreated because we had people in the army undermining us who are working with the former president of Somalia, Farmacho, who himself had close ties to Al Shabaab. So yeah, so I think the country is doing really well, but it's just an uphill struggle. It's not easy. Just I think just 2 weeks ago, 200 people died. There was a Al Shabaab terrorist attack where they just went to a market and they killed 100 people. But I think people are not. I think people understand that they have to fight regardless. Even if 100 people die a day, we have no choice because we just have to continue fighting until we win. And Al Shabaab are not going to scare us into surrendering by just killing innocent people. And so far, I think since this new campaign started, this new war on Al Shabaab, we haven't we haven't really had any big losses in the front line. We've done really well. Al Shabaab have had huge losses. They had hundreds and hundreds of their men get killed, you know. So and they lost huge areas of land. So I think we're doing really well. Um, and it's just a matter of time before um, you know key important towns in central Somalia liberated from Al Shabaab, such as El Bor and Haradari. And that's going to be a huge moral boost for us. So yeah, I think we're doing really well, but it's not easy because there's so many people against us. You know, not only are we fighting Al Shabaab, we're also fighting fellow Somalis who are not happy at how things are working, how things are changing. Because you have to understand, the Somali people are not united. Some of them want to break away, such as Somaliland, and some of them have their own interests, such as Puntland, and some of them are not nice people, such as from our just supporters. They don't want good for the Hawiya clan, especially the Hawiya clan. They don't want peace for us because most of our Shabab they are in Hawiya areas. So yeah, it's just madness. So there's no such thing as a united Somalia, and you know it just doesn't exist at the moment. So I think what I think yeah, so that's the reality. And I think Somalia just recently tried to get the arms embargo lifted, but it wasn't a success, and that was a bit of a blow to us because we're trying to get weapons to fight Al Shabaab, to fight these terrorists. And I think we're the only country in the world who are, who who are who don't have weapons to fight terrorists. Even Afghanistan had it against the Taliban. And I think this arms embargo is so outdated. This is from 1992. This is during the uh, warlord or tribal era at that time. But that's gone. Now we have a government and we're just trying to combat Al Shabaab. But the international community, hasn't really supported us. So it makes it really difficult for us to get the, the weapons we need and the tools we need to free ourselves from Al Shabaab. So most of our power, is dependent on the people. We're winning today because the Somali nomads who call themselves Mosle, they had enough of Al Shabaab and they support the government. They believe in the government. So that's the only reason why we're winning today because we have manpower. We have more manpower than Al Shabaab, and we have local support from the local community. So that's one of the main reasons why we have the edge over Al Shabaab. But in terms of weapons, Al Shabaab they're better armed than us. They have even better weapons than us. So yeah, yeah. Thank you everyone. That's my update in Somalia at the moment. If you have any questions, feel free, and that'd be fantastic. Bye.